This week, can little old you really make a difference? Hell yes, you can. I'm Quinn Emmett, and this is Important Not Important. Here's your weekly action steps, or what we can do. Number 1, help your local farmers sell online, not just at farmers markets, with Grown By. Number 2, help people worldwide get clean, safe, accessible drinking water with Charity Water. Number 3, support Dr. Ayanna Elizabeth Johnson's Urban Ocean Lab as they write the future of ocean policy. And number 4, stay ahead of water news with the award-winning Circle of Blue nonprofit newsroom. And now, today's big question. What the hell you can do? Even the smallest person can change the course of the future. Many words and gallons of figurative blood have been spilled in the long war over how to most effectively take on the world's biggest problems and opportunities. The lines, or how you can help, are often and obnoxiously drawn between the factions of individual actions and systemic change. The gatekeepers of each side often spend as much energy telling newcomers how they're doing it wrong as they do fighting the good fight. But it's important to have a little empathy and understand why these captains of progress are forced to clarify our most prudent way forward again and again. You see, the forces aligned against them and us have sought since the 1950s to confuse you, to misinform you, to create chaos among the ranks of the well-intentioned, to make this your fault. And the onslaught of greenwashing and environmental original sin continues to this day. This, clearly, is a moment when we need all hands on deck. Every gender, every race, every dollar, every effort. And not just because this ticking clock is a measure of the Anthropocene, in itself a war of attrition involving every hand on deck, but because the systems built so far, without incorporating every gender and race, have failed for every demographic save one, white men. I want to be clear here. Again, it's measurable. Those same stakeholders have spent enormous sums to convince you that you, your person, your habits and choices, are the problem. And that in turn, only you and the very personal choices you make, to buy low-tar cigarettes, to use fewer plastic straws, to wear a mask, can reverse these very unfortunate circumstances we find ourselves in. TikTok. Make better choices, Gary. So these stakeholders, profiteers, poisoners of mind and body, worm tongues, but with Twitter accounts and trillions in subsidies, seek to divide us, to extinguish our brightest flames before they can be lit. And that's bullshit, man. They're everywhere as designed, leading international conglomerates to incredible profits and failing to lead countries, including and especially this one in the past. They've abandoned taking care of you, but will never stop extorting and misleading you. So to defeat them does in fact require systemic change. That is the nature of being alive after our ancestors fought for so much progress. Being alive as the clock is almost up, but at the same time when so much opportunity lies before us. Incrementalism, so fewer plastic straws over time, which is great, also ignores how far we've come. Objectively, historically, this world is incredible. Best time to be alive. But it also ignores that so much damage is already done. And it also ignores that things can be so much radically better for everyone. Incrementalism ignores what we're capable of. Turning back those who come to our efforts asking, how can I help, is how we lose, man. It's how we fail to enact systemic change. They can take away our air and our water, but they can never take away the power each of us has to decide how we react to such outright thefts. How we each choose to react is born of our own perspectives and our own skills. My man Frodo didn't take to Mordor because he thought it'd be fun or an adventure. He was an undersized orphan, an only child, and the only place he was ever going to call home was inevitably going to be destroyed. He was super reluctant to take up the cause, as a fellowship of like-minded allies and warriors quickly formed by his side. The steadfast gathering of very different creatures with very different skills, willing to throw away traditions and some serious grievances, because the time was now, or never. If nothing else, Frodo's was a tale of how much we can inspire each other to take up the fight. As my hero, Rihanna Gunn Wright, wrote in 2020, forever ago, we are still terribly, dangerously alive. And any moment that you're alive is a moment to fight back against the people, institutions, and ideologies, the systems, that prefer death over justice. As my other hero, Dr. Leah Stokes, said, you can make your life to a living act of resistance. Make your life into art. But you don't have to do all this. And you certainly don't have to do it all and do it all alone. Your individual actions won't manifest in a vacuum. Not now, with everything on the line. You can use your privilege and put your body in the streets with thousands of others. You can put your body in between your ancestral lands in a pipeline. You can run for office to represent hundreds or millions. You can become a sustainable material scientist and create a lab with 6 other cool scientists to build new straws. Straws that don't destroy ecosystems, but that also don't become tissue in cold brew. Please, you can become a teacher or a nurse. You can string simple words together into something none of us has ever read before. You can use your expertise spinning up restaurants to become a new leader in food-based disaster relief for millions. You can build drones that fight wildfires. Still don't understand that one. You can pick up trash every day for hundreds of days in a row to lay bare the choices of others who just walk the same paths. You can use your art to iconize a movement. How many young Americans sat on the floor of Nancy Pelosi's office 5 years ago? 150 people? There's somehow oil companies with 150 senior vice presidents. It's crazy. But 150 members of Generation Z, who are now adults, doesn't a revolution make? Or does it? Because just over 700 days later, our otherwise centrist and president-elect promised to dismantle fossil fuels forever, because thousands more young people watched those original 150, and together they refused to stop knocking on his door. And now, there's no IRA, or IRA as I call them, without that sit-in. No matter what Matthew Yglesias tells you, the choices you make, how you choose to join the fight on a daily basis, these choices to be you, to use what you've got, these actions repeated over time become a pattern, become a habit. They become a part of who you are. From the initial choice to begin, to invest in developing a part of yourself, to better yourself, your relationships and your world, to commit to it every day. These individual actions add up. They transform who you are. They open up new opportunities. They inspire others around you because we do nothing if not together. They can become so much more. They can become the face of a new movement, even in just your neighborhood. They can dismantle oppressive systems. They can reverse the clock now, at the turn of the tide. That's it for this week. Hit subscribe to get your next week's issue straight to your feed. To go deeper, visit importantnotimportant.com/newsletter. Thank you for being a part of our community, and thanks for giving a shit. Have a great weekend.